Hey yo YouTube, welcome to a video of reacting to something that's actually been popping up a little bit on my feed lately. And as a fan of Jurassic Park, I've always loved the series like extensively, and someone has been making some analog horror of like the events of Jurassic Park before they went to the park and everything went downhill through the eyes of Robert Muldoon, the Raptor tamer guy. So I've been seeing it pop up a lot lately on my feed, and it's been very interesting to see like the reception behind it. So I figured, why not? Because I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite things of all time. That was my childhood. I loved it, especially the T-Rex scene. It's peak cinema. So I figured I'd react to this and watch this with y'all to see, how he does this series and going forward how it like unveils with the story and like what transpires. Apparently there's already like 7 or 8 episodes if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's gonna be episode 1 with Robert Muldoon explaining how Jurassic Park works, and yeah, just kind of giving like some backstory in an analog horror setting. So I'm very excited to see this. So without further ado, let's just watch it. Let me double it up a little bit. There we go. Yes, the Engine Training Division, Velociraptor, Anteropus. That was the Jurassic Park's version of Velociraptor.
Robert Muldoon, Game Warden, Isla Nublar. Feeding procedure for Velociraptor Anteropus. The date is September 1st, 91. I'm standing here at the Raptor enclosure prior to
like an AI voice generation of Robert Muldoon. Okay.
I will now document the feeding process, which I think is not as efficient as I would like.
Okay.
There are still many things that need smoothing out, but I want to keep it professional and objective in this log.
I mean, already looking at this, the detail on this is actually very good. It looks like it could be straight out of like a game movie kind of thing like that. Okay, looking good so far. And look, Velociraptor Containment. Let's see what happens.
Here, at the entry gates, we have a staggered system whereby doors can only be opened once further doors have been locked, similar to the double doors of a walk-through aviary in any zoo, where visitors close one door before opening the other to prevent birds from escaping. The birds in here, however, won't just escape, they'll gut you to death.
Yep.
But like I said, the system
They
needs
will attack
refining.
from the front or from the sides.
As it stands currently, only selected carnivore handlers and myself are permitted to feed the raptors. Let me show you how that's done. The authorized handler will use his swipe card to enter the buffer enclosure with a live animal, usually a cow. We've tried feeding the raptors beef, lamb, chicken,
I don't know, like 3D
pig,
animation stuff like that, but this looks like
they won't touch the stuff. They need living prey because they want to hunt. They want to coordinate and take down a live animal. So
see, I like that right there where he's kind of explaining like how raptors work, because again, he is the raptor handler and we're learning more in depth of how the feeding process works for the raptors, because in the movie, I mean, he gives a general consensus of it, but here we're actually seeing his actual like thought process when having to take care of the raptors and how in depth it goes already. So, okay.
We've resorted to bringing in a cow or a goat once every 3 days or so. The handler will lead the cow into this enclosure. This buffer enclosure is double fenced with a steel barricade internally and then a 10,000 volt electric fence externally, mounted on concrete slabs which extend 10 feet underground to prevent the raptors digging. The enclosure, as you can see, is fortified on both sides and from above to prevent the raptors leaping, because they're astonishing jumpers, easily clearing 10 feet plus.
Yeah, they're very good jumpers in the movie.
Now, this is the actual feeding enclosure. And again, the handler uses his swipe card at the scanner to open the gates like so. This pen opens up to the Velociraptor exhibit that visitors will see on the tour once the park is up and running. So that means where I am standing now is the rear of the Raptor exhibit.
Oh, the side
out of
part.
Sight from the Explorer tour track. I personally don't think any child visiting this park should see a 6-foot reptile
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't mean to pause too much, but because the original raptor enclosure from the movie, at least, was that small containment cage. So this is showing already here, and I don't know if it inspires or gets information from the novel book. For those that don't know, the novel Jurassic Park compared to the movie is vastly different. I mean, there's some similarities, but the novel is a lot more in depth about how the park is, and there's a lot of darker things that happen in the book. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out. But yeah, it looks like this enclosure is not the one that we see in the movie. It's a whole separate one. So I don't know how they went from this big enclosure from the looks of it to that small one. It's gonna be interesting.
Rating a poor cow, and that's why we feed them away from public eyes. Once the cow is brought into this pen, the handlers exit, locking this gate, and then proceed out the buffer enclosure. It is only once both gates have been closed and the handler is safely behind two locked gates that the raptors are permitted to enter this enclosure and feed.
Oh, there's a dinosaur in the
This
background.
fence, as well as the electric fence beyond, slide open, and the raptors enter where I am currently standing. For obvious reasons, I will not open this gate. But that is essentially the gist of how we currently feed the raptors here, while the construction of the raptor pen a little further away reaches completion, and we transport the pack there.
Gotcha.
Now, if we look out into the raptor enclosure, there are 5 female animals in here. We bred
5
8
of them.
originally, and then 2 more were cloned on Sauna, but one did not survive transport to the park, leaving one big one to join the
Oh,
pack
the
in
big
here.
one. Yep.
When she came in, she took over the pride, killing half the original brood. Just
Oh,
4
he's saying
days
the
ago,
quote
the
from the
big
movie.
one killed a smaller raptor. So I'm always watching her. I don't believe we'll spot any of them right now, and that's probably because they are nocturnal animals, as are a lot of
Raptors
predators
would be nocturnal.
today.
They would be nocturnal.
I've had many
shit, a Gallo
discussions
cry.
with John about feed timing and whatnot, and possibly switching to nocturnal feeding, as daytime may cause stress and agitated behaviors. The last thing we want is an agitated velociraptor, believe me. And on that note, that completes this log of the feeding procedures. What the?
Oh, wait, what?
Is that another?
Oh,
Shit.
damn. They killed another raptor?
So as I documented earlier this afternoon, another raptor was killed. She was removed from the enclosure by a chopper, which was a disaster. She sustained a massive laceration to her underside and bled out.
I wonder if that was the big one.
My guess
Since
is
it's
the
big killing
big
zone.
one took her out.
Yep.
But the
big one.
enclosure cameras didn't catch it. There's only so many cameras you can place across an enclosure the size of several football fields covered in dense vegetation.
Damn, this looks eerie as hell. But yeah, see, this is showing the big one already like scheming, because from what it
The
was shown,
surveillance footage from
Oh, God.
last night, after the dead raptor was removed, only raised more questions. I
After
noticed
the
the
raptors.
remaining 3 females being very busy, but I couldn't spot the big one. Anyway, another one down. 4 remaining raptors. I'll document the raptor pack dynamics tonight. They're bound to change after another member dies.
Damn. See, why is it just tripping right there? Ooh, this is eerie.
They go at the fence every night, never attacking the same place twice.
Oh,
They
yep.
test the fences for weaknesses systematically. They learn and they remember.
They remember. Yep. Oh. That's a stego cry from JP2. Oh. There are the raptors. Okay, really quickly. I love how they're setting up the big one to be, because we already knew the big one from the movie was, you know, pretty it rivaled intelligence of a human. It was able to think and break things down and of course outsmart the humans, and with its pack of other 2 raptors it kept with it. Now seeing how the other, this is like before that, and there was, you know, members of the pride still, it's like setting it up to where the big one's planning some stuff and like learning, and makes it seem like it has more higher cognizant intelligence than we originally thought it was. So it's very interesting. I'm very curious to see how this plans out for things. Oh, there's some of the raptors. Okay, we got 2 of them. Is that the big one? I don't know if that's the big one.
That big one is a
Oh,
real problem.
that's the big one.
She's costing Hammond hundreds of thousands. When she was introduced, the dynamics of the pack changed significantly. Dominant from the start and absolutely lethal to any raptor that did not fall in line.
Oh yeah, you could
She
definitely
shows
tell.
extreme intelligence, even problem-solving intelligence.
You know, even looking at you, she's
That
like,
one, when she looks at you, you can see she's working things out.
oh yep, another
She
quote from the
doesn't
movie.
test the fences anymore. She watches the others do it for her. They obey her completely. She directs them. I've seen that look before in lions and wolves, but not in reptiles. It's not instinct.
Oh, she's moving.
It's something else.
I would not be that close to the gate, Muldoon. That is risky as hell. Ooh, the chirps. Excellent sound design.
She's making plans at the moment, and the other raptors are awaiting
Oh yeah,
instructions.
there's the other 3. But the big one.
This is the big one in the back. And now that they know
Oh,
there's
yep, and
something
she's
in the
looking at
feeding
him.
enclosure, we might get to see what I came here for. Their communication is far more advanced than reptiles of today. There's verbal cues and sounds, but there's also eye movements and tail twitches. One thing about the big one is she's fairly stoic in her communication style. She's aggressive when she wants to be, but is not as animated as the others.
I was
She'll
gonna say,
stand
yeah.
still and stare directly into your eyes for hours. The others
Oh, damn.
I describe as more bird-like in their behavior with erratic movements. Oh, here we go. She's chosen one of them, and they're off.
So what is it doing? Is it gonna try to test the fence or something? Oh yeah, but just walking off in the distance. Oh shit.
These two
Clever
are a few
girls.
years older, and they seem to be the most
Damn.
loyal to the big one. They seem to be
The
quite
detail on them
obedient
is pretty
to her.
good. They look just like the
But
original
where did
Raptors.
she go? See, that's what she does. She gives
Oh.
out orders and then sits back and watches.
Damn.
And these two clowns do her bidding.
Clever girl. Oh shit. Oh damn.
God. Oh, shit.
Oh yeah, that
Never
raptor
seen
got
one of them
fried.
in contact with the fence for such a long time. Jesus Christ, I think she fried herself.
Damn.
You were here to distract me. Clever girl.
Yeah. Clever girl, he said the line. Damn. Because that's 10,000 volts. That's nothing to snooze over. So yeah, that raptor probably did get killed. Oh, what the? Did they
The
shoot?
following morning, the big one and her two
Oh,
remaining minions were tranquilized.
Okay.
So that
I was like, there's no way they're killing him after that.
And inspect the raptor's injuries.
Damn, that's a powerful sedative. Put them out in seconds. I mean, with raptors, you kind of have to. You can't run that risk. You gotta put them out at fast, because if they give any chance to run, who knows where they could end up.
She sustained third-degree burns to all 4 limbs and lacerations to her mouth before being hurled some 40 feet away from the electric fence. She smelled of charred meat.
Oh, damn.
Consequently, she died. This raptor in particular was
Oh yeah,
far
she's
younger than the
completely
others. My
roasted.
guess
Even her
is
jaw.
the big one picked on her specifically to test another region of the electric
Yep, her
fence.
hind claws.
This
her
one
hind
mustn't have
legs.
had the experience that the other raptors had and couldn't manage
yeah.
to execute the task
Even the texture for the
without
burnt
frying
skin.
herself
Damn.
in the process.
Yeah, just shot straight through her mouth
I would
down to her
almost feel
neck.
sympathy for her if I didn't have an obsessive need to have them all destroyed before one of them eventually figures out how to escape their enclosure.
Damn.
The sedated raptors were moved from this enclosure to a far more reinforced pen. Unfortunately, that wasn't without another casualty.
Oh, shooter from the movie. Yep. Damn. Damn. This is already a good setup already just for a first episode. Yeah, looks. Oh, there's 11 episodes. Oof. Oh my god, damn! It goes way into depth about like how the park actually worked before, because we never got to see that. We just got to view the park for the first time with, what's their names, Alan Grant and all them originally. So this whole backstory adds more depth to what actually happened. I really wonder if they're pulling from the novel itself, or if it's just like his own spin-off of the tales. But through the eyes of Robert Muldoon, I think it's the best way, because if I remember, he was uh, a hunter originally, so he knows his stuff about creatures and things like that. He's not like the guy from Jurassic Park 2, I forget his name, but like he was a bona fide hunter. He knew everything ins and outs of every single predator that ever existed. But Muldoon is nothing to snooze over either. He's actually a pretty good intellectual hunter as well. So it's curious to see how he has to deal with the mundane tasks of Jurassic Park and make sure people don't die. And in this case, what the Raptors are planning. So yeah, definitely an interesting series to see for sure. And I'm definitely excited to see more of this. So, yep, if you guys want to see more, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to leave a comment down below. And yep, I'll see you in the next one. And of course, as always, keep it chill.